Hey guys, this is Tamil Koda. The problem we are going to see today is remove duplicates in an array. The first step in solving any problem is to understand the question clearly. Many programmers misunderstand the question and waste so much of time. So this is a basic question, but anyhow, we'll get clear with that. What is duplicates in an array? Consider this array. In this array, this element 1, 2 and 1. These three elements are duplicates. Or it means that these 1, 2 and 1 are repeated. Now consider this array. Yeah, you got that right. This 0 and 1 are the duplicate elements. The output of this array will be 1, 2, 3 and 5. Now the output of this array will be 1, 0, 2. The ultimate aim of this question is to remove all the repeated elements and output an array with only unique elements in it. There are many approaches for this solution. We are going to see three solutions or three approaches for this problem. The first approach for this solution, let's see about that. Consider this array. This is an input array. And in this approach, always the first element is the king. Why the first element is the king? Because the first element of an array, of any array, cannot be a duplicate value. So this first element is always the king. And we have another box num which stores the number of the original element in an array. Initially it will be 0. Now this king will give authority to the next person in an array. The work of this person is to check whether it has a duplicate of himself. One will check him, no, he is not a duplicate. We'll check 3, he is also not a duplicate. We'll check 5, he is also not a duplicate. We'll check 2, he is also not a duplicate. Then we'll check 1, it is a duplicate. Now, what he will do is, he will replace the value of the duplicate value with the king. So already is 1, it will replace with 1 here. Now, the work of the authority person has been finished now. What he will report to the king. Now the king will check whether the authority person is a duplicate or not. Now yes, it is a duplicate of the king. So what the king will do? King will move the authority person to the next. Now this 2 will check whether it has a duplicate of himself or not. He'll check 3, no he is not. He'll check 5, no he is not. He'll check 2, yes, this 2 is a duplicate value. So what he will do? He will replace this duplicate value with the value of the king. The value of the king is 1 here. Now I'm going to check this. This is not a duplicate value. Now it has to report to the king now. It reports to the king. Now king checks, is 2 a duplicate value of the king? No, 2 is not a duplicate value of the king. Now the king will increment the value of the num to 1. Then the value of the authority person will move to the index of the num. Index of the num is 1, so authority person will move here. And the authority goes to the next person. Now 3. Now 3 checks for a duplicate value of himself. 5 is not a duplicate value, 1 and 1. So 3 didn't find any duplicate value of himself. So it reports to the king. And king checks if 3 is duplicate value of the king. No, 3 is not duplicate value of the king. So king will increment the value of the num and move the authority person to the index of the num. Index of the num is 2. So authority person will move to this position. Now authority will move to the next element. Now 5 checks whether it has a duplicate of himself or not. It doesn't have a duplicate of himself, so it will report to the king. It is also not a duplicate of a king, so king will increment the value of the num and it will move to this position. Now authority moves to this position. It checks for the duplicate value. It finds the duplicate value. it replaces the value of the king. So already it is 1. Now it reports to the king. This authority person is also a duplicate value. So what we will do, it doesn't change the num. Authority person moves to the next value. This value 1 don't have any other further elements. So it reports to the king, it finds it as a duplicate value, so the value of the num is not changed. So we have gathered all the array elements. So we can see that the value of the num is 3. The index of the num 3 is here. So we can clearly see that the index of 0, from the index 0 to the index num, will get the unique elements where we do not have any repeated elements in this array. So this is the first approach for this solution. This is a brute force approach, and the time complexity of this solution is O of n square, and space complexity of them is O of n of 1. So since we are using only one variable for storing the number. The second approach, we will consider this array. This approach will be more efficient than that approach, but we will use another array to store the values. So this array accepts only the original value. Every element in the given array wants to come to the original array. Consider that. This one wants to come to the original array. It accepts 1 since it doesn't have 1 already in it. This element 0 wants to come to the original array. The original array accepts it because it doesn't have already 0. And this 2 comes to the original array because it doesn't have 2. And this 0 wants to come to the original array. It can't come to the original array because there is already 0 in it. It considers this 0 as a duplicate value, then it will not accept that. Then this one wants to come to the original array. Already 1% in the original array, so this element can't come to this array. This is a very easy to understand approach. It is also more efficient than the previous approach what we are seeing earlier. We will use in operator in Python or contains in Java, whatever the language we use. These operators used to check whether an element is in the array or not. The time complexity of this solution is O of n, and space complexity of this solution is O of n, since we are using another array for this problem. The third approach can be only solved if the array is sorted. Understand this approach very clearly. This will help you in many related problems. It is very similar to the first approach, but in first approach we saw that always the first element is the king. But here, every element can be a king, but only if it is an original element. But currently, the value of the king will be 0, which is the first element, index of the first element, because it cannot be a duplicate value. Now, this person wants to be a king. He'll check with the current king. It is a duplicate value. It cannot be a king. So, it will move to the next person. This person wants to be a king. Checks with the current king. It is not a duplicate value. So, the value of the king will move to 1, and that this person will move here. And the index moves further. Now this person wants to be a king. The current king is at index position 1. So this will check here. It is not a duplicate value. So the king will move its next value, and this person will move to the index of king. And the pointer moves here. Now this person wants to be a king. Current king at index 3. So it checks with the current king. It is a duplicate value. It cannot be a king. So nothing happens here. Value moves here. Now 4 wants to be a king. It checks with the current king. Yes, it can be a king. So value of the king is incremented, and this person moves to the index of the king. Now this pointer moves here. Now phi wants to be a king. It checks with the current king. Yes, it can be a king. So the value of the king is incremented by 1 and this element moves to the index of the king. Now here we have come to the end of the array. Now what we can see now, the value of the king is 4. Now if we consider the value of the index from 0 to the index of king, we have the unique elements of the array. It's an efficient solution. It has a time complexity of 0 O of n. Since we are not using any external array to store anything, so the space complexity of this is O of n. This is a very important approach or solution where you can remember this or understand this more clearly, so you can use this in many other related problems. We have seen 3 approaches for this solution. If you want the code is in the description. Remember, code or language you program is not at all important. The approach of the problem is important. In almost 90% of the times, you won't see the same question what you learn. There may be small change in the question, like there will be a negative numbers, or in some cases they will ask to consider negative numbers as positive numbers. Something like -1, 0, 0, 1 and 5. The output of this array must be 1, 0 and 5. In some problems they will change an array to a string. So only the approach of this solution will help you in that cases. Always try to implement your own code and cross check with the code. I also have given the link for LeetCode and HackerEarth for this problem, so you can test your code. Thank you guys. We'll see you with a new problem.